Welcome back to our morning coffee talk series. This is episode 7. I'm your host, Andy. This is Casual Chats over Morning Brew, our coffee talk series here on Gray Shot Down. Let me get my coffee going and then we'll kick things off and begin to chat. I hope everyone's morning is going well. I have some fun talking points that I want to talk about today. I want to talk about technology and current trends. I think that'll be a fun area of discussion. Get my espresso shot going here. Perfect. So, first up, I've been seeing a lot of discussion in social media universes, whether it be on X or Twitter, whatever we call it these days, YouTube. People are really interestingly frustrated about iOS 18. And so the features you'll love and how they make life easier. For me, I love iOS 18. I think it's probably one of the most revolutionary OS updates that Apple has pushed to their operating system in a while. And the reason I say that is because it feels like they opened up a lot of the functionality that people have been asking for from other device manufacturers, aka Android, for a while. And they finally just said, you know what, let's make this an option for our users to utilize. And I tell you what, iOS 18 for me, in my own personal experience, I have absolutely loved it. But as I say with iOS 18, it's kind of a lot like school or additional higher education. You get out of it what you put into it. If you just walk into iOS 18 and you just take what the default is, yeah, I could see how that might be a bit cumbersome, or it might not be laid out how you would like to have it laid out for your use case. For me, my favorite feature of iOS 18 has got to be Control Center. Having multiple pages in Control Center, I want to literally just do this to the Apple engineers. Thank you. Thank you. I can't tell you how many, I think I'm up to 5 pages in Control Center now between my home automations, my AirPlay automations where I have shortcuts built to be able to send audio wherever I want inside of the house, whether it be AirPlayed to the living room speakers or what have you. I've even built shortcuts on my main Control Center to be able to have a mute button where you can just swipe down, hit that button, and instantaneously it mutes the audio wherever you're going. I think iOS 18 is really cool. All I've been hearing people complain about is the Photos app, which to give that credit, or to at least give credence to that claim, let's assess this. The Photos app has changed. It's been drastically reorganized and kind of relayed out a little bit. But again, as I stated earlier with iOS 18, you get out of it what you put into it. If you don't do anything, by default, it has all of the subcategories turned on. Locations, favorites, memories. I think there's other ones in there that I don't particularly use. But if you scroll all the way down to the bottom, customize and reorder, you can turn these things off. If you don't find yourself utilizing certain features, just disable them, turn them off. It's not a big deal. It just hides that folder. It's kind of like video editing. I don't use all aspects of a video editor, but I do like to have a very powerful video editor that's not watered down. So in other words, when I need to go do color grading or audio post-processing and things like that, I want to have something that has that kind of capability behind it for when it's necessary. That being said, that's iOS 18. Comment down below. Let me know what you guys think about iOS 18. Are you enjoying the experience? Is it something that you're having fun with, or is it driving you nuts? Just curious. Next up on my technology and current trends chat this morning, I'd like to explore AI tools for everyday productivity. I'm curious how people are actually using AI. The more I start talking to colleagues or coworkers or people I come into contact with on a daily basis, they've never heard of ChatGPT. Or if they have, it's in the news and nobody's using it. Obviously, that's not true because the circles we run in here online, a lot of us are using it. A lot of us are using Grok. A lot of us are using all of these various models to test their performance, use it for our use cases, and kind of just really see what they're capable of, right? I think we've said this before, and I heard it said in a podcast. AI will 10x people who are usually inquisitive and want to be on the forefront of change. I will level myself and say it has not necessarily 10x'd my capability, but it has certainly made life much easier when it comes to communicating, building those messages that sometimes you would sit in front of a keyboard with for hours and wonder, what am I supposed to send? What should I say to this? Should I say this? Is it better to work with that? For me, the AI tool in my everyday productivity has been a brainstorming session. I love it. It's kind of like, think of it like the early days of Google search when you were trying to find stuff. Now Google is pretty good. It delivers you back what your query was pretty accurately. At least on the first page. Sometimes you can go on to the second page. I mean, let's be honest, nobody really goes to the second page of Google anymore. And I think that leads me into this third talking point for our technology and current trends topic today. Is technology helping or hurting human connection? I think in ways technology is hurting human connection. And I think it's more technology, I believe, has the capability of hurting human connection, but I don't think it was created on those intentions. I think technology was created to really honestly be the opposite of that, to be something that would bring people together, that would bring like-minded individuals into the same space so that they could communicate, perhaps develop and flourish new ideas. And when you look at it from a broader spectrum, you could kind of see how, yes, that is true, but in also terms, no, it hasn't done that. It has really divided in some ways. But perhaps that's not the right question. Perhaps the question should be, why are we as humans that way? Because it seems to me that is more biological than it is actually driven by the device that we have in our hands. I mean, shoot, if we go back into very, very old times, we had sticks and stones. That's what we were able to talk about. Oh, you have big stick. Oh, I have littler stick. Maybe if we, like fire. So, I mean, that's the side of it that I think you can see both categories too. Yes, it has helped society, but at the same time, it has hurt society in some regards. Or the better term instead of hurt would be stunted society. In other words, stunted growth. It's interesting. I do believe long term it has the potential of helping society, similar to what Google search used to do, to what it has done in society. Nowadays, we go Google everything, or we go look it up using a search engine. And I remember when I was growing up, how that wasn't the case. It was when you asked your friends, oh, did you go Google it or did you go search it? No. What do you mean you didn't go search it? Well, now it's, did you go chat it? Did you go chat about it? I think you should go chat about everything, to be really honest with you. I think it's one of the coolest tools we have in society right now. But I think in the same way, LLMs or AI models or whatever the next AGI intelligence system that we get to utilize is, I think there's always going to be a certain amount of resentment towards trying the technology. Or maybe resentment isn't the right word, but I think it's resistance. Resistance towards trying, resistance towards change. I like to be one that doesn't resist, but I think that's easier said than done. I think in some ways we should be striving towards being people that don't resist. And we embrace positive embracing of what's next. Obviously, we can resent things that are bad. Gadgets that simplify your daily routine. This is the fourth point, or fourth talking point today with our technology and current trends. Gadgets that simplify your daily routine. I have a lot of gadgets. I'm sure you have a lot of gadgets too. You're watching a mild techie channel. We do drone videos. We film stuff like these coffee chats, and obviously Doggone Sci-Fi and I are together, and we film stuff. And as far as our adventures that we go on, and so yeah, there's a lot of things in technology that I enjoy. I think I just mentioned that I enjoy iOS 18. I think it's one of my new favorite operating systems. I've really been enjoying my new iPad. I purchased an iPad Pro M4 13-inch, and it is the thinnest product Apple has ever created. And yes, it is the thinnest product Apple has ever created. It is so cool. It's extremely thin. In fact, here I have it down here as far as my notes. You can see it's such a lightweight and just nice, really nice tool to use on a daily basis. I know everyone has their own tools that they really enjoy utilizing, but for me, it's been the iPad. I won't be one that completely utilizes it as my primary laptop. I develop for work, so it's not going to be something that I'm able to, yeah, you all get it. But as it has bridged the gap finally from what I used to criticize it as, which was solely a consumption device. It is now something that is capable of being creative, it's capable of generating things, it's capable of coordinating events, whether it be what we're doing right now. And that has been really neat to see the iterations and the changes develop over time. What's next? My thought process of what's next leads us well into the final talking point for our discussion today, which is predictions for the next wave of innovation in tech. I think it's easy to cast a really wide net for what might happen in tech, but I feel that if one casts a really wide net, it's not good. In other words, if you cast a wide net, sure, it's great because you're going to pick up a few things along the way and say, oh, I was right about that, I was right about that, and I was right about that. Or be able to manipulate it around and say for the reasons why you were wrong about the opposite. I believe that the next chapter in technology is going to be another iteration of miniaturization. I believe a lot of users don't like wearing things on their face. We certainly didn't like wearing masks during the pandemic because it hid our facial expressions and it made it much more challenging to be able to communicate eye to eye. With this next leap in technology, with generative AI, with large language models, I believe it's going to be about making those putting those use cases or those opportunities to be able to utilize the technology, making it more accessible. And I know this sounds crazy, but a phone's not accessible. It's either going to be an implant or it's going to be something you wear. I don't think these glasses are going to, I don't see myself wearing glasses all day long. And I'm all for having an 85-inch computer screen in space. I think if they take off, the glasses thing could work if the technology caught up to a certain point, right? But Steve Jobs had it best when he was able to test Siri back in the early days. He called it another input method. And for him, he was right. If you think about Siri, it's your automated assistant that's you're able to talk to it, you're able to ask it questions. Now, granted, it's very primitive right now. But could you imagine a future where you could talk to it in native language, whether that be English or any other language or dialect? That could be fascinating. The implications of something that you could speak to and have it complete tasks for you, I think that would be pretty revolutionary and pretty groundbreaking. And for my opinion about it, it's all about how do you apply that technology? How do you put it into a package? Do you put it on a watch? Do you put it on a ring? Do you put it as a necklace or something that you put on as a pin? We've seen the AI humane pin, right? I still believe, or I even still think at this point, that technology, we are still in the infancy of discovering what the form factor is for this new technology and this new world. But I'm really, really, really excited about where we're headed. And it's going to be fascinating to document and discuss along the way. I need to try my coffee this morning because I got off talking about technology and I'm quite passionate about the topic. Pretty good coffee. It's going to be a good morning. Some personal excitements that I'll close off here. I've been working on reading a little bit more. I'm up to about 20 titles before the end of the year. Reading is something that I didn't dedicate enough time to early in life. I dedicated far more time to understanding electronics and understanding how systems work and how you program things and how if this doesn't work, you can fix this via that. And obviously with that came a lot of manual reading through manuals and user blogs and how do you fix this and a lot of troubleshooting. But now later in life, I'm actually finding much more joy in reading stories, whether they be biographies of other people's stories and their different walks of life, or if it be more fictional based and science fiction and think Star Wars and the Isaac Asimov series and things like that. It's just, it allows you to kind of have that escapism, to kind of see another world and then come back and utilize your findings or your thought processes over there to extrapolate that into a new rendition of it, of whatever creative project you're working on. And it's ultimately the reason why I also like traveling too. I like traveling because it does the same thing. So, no, it's been a good year. It's been a really, really good year. Notes for next time. Be sure to submit your topic suggestions for future coffee chats. It's always fun to chat with you guys, and I really do enjoy doing these. We are on episode 7 right now, we'll keep doing these. These are a lot of fun to set up and see in various locations. Sometimes I'm not in the best of hotel room setup, so it's difficult to set up all the equipment. But I know that the viewing audience, yourself, I know you guys appreciate this. And so with that, I hope you enjoy your day, your morning, and that we see each other again very soon.